This is a new Pomoly tent, and this is canvas. This is the yarn version. Very, very nice tent, very high quality. I've got the Work Tuff stove 380 model set up in here. You guys have seen my review of that. And this is a much larger tent than, you know, the One Tigress or the Cattleman that we've used before. It's got really good ventilation, good airflow, and the build quality is fantastic. Very nice stitching. Fired up the wood stove. I just opened the front. I put a guide out on the door and ran about 4 feet of it out to the ground, and so that keeps this open. You can sit in here, plenty of heat from the stove.
With this fabric, I'm not worried about like melting seams on like a sil nylon style hot tent, which in my experience using a thermometer, I mean, in one tent the ceiling was 141 degrees or 142. At that point you're starting to melt fabric, and it's going to mess with the water repellency.
Because John had it was a smoky hut.
Had a smoky hut, yeah.
And it got so hot that what was happening was the center pole is aluminum, and I think it conducts heat so well that it got so hot it actually melted through the roof. Yep. And so the whole thing slid down.
And that was in the middle of a cold rainstorm. It was like 30 degrees and it rained like 2 inches.
They've actually woven some fire retardant material around that. This thing should be nice in the snow, because it snows here.
Bring a lot of wood.
Got like, I think 2.5 feet last year when I was here.
We were still noticing patches of snow on the local mountains close by.
And I think last night it got down to probably about 40. So we're going to use it tonight with the stove, and tomorrow I'm going to pull this, I'll open it up, and you guys will get a real close look at it.
And if I'm still sitting in this chair come morning, you know it was a really cold night.
It definitely got cold last night. I got up and made some coffee, and the water that was on the table was completely solid frozen. And so I had to heat up some of the water, unfreeze it. I got a fire started, and Marley and I slept pretty well in this tent last night. I got the stove going, I got it stoked up pretty good, and you know, it was enough to get us to sleep. And I think the fire finally died down right around 1 o'clock in the morning, and by then we were fast asleep and pretty toasty. One of the main reasons we get out in the field with these products is to really be able to test them under a variety of conditions over a long period of time. And I've used the Pomoly Yarn as my primary residence in a lot of the rugged, remote locations that I travel to for a lot of my filming. And last season I spent a solid 16 weeks in this tent, and that's a lot of hard use to put on any kind of an outdoor product, you know, especially a tent. It gets put up, it gets taken down, and that really kind of puts a lot of stress on the zippers, the stitching, and this is definitely something that I can recommend. It's definitely durable. and it pairs extremely well with the wood stove. It's kept us warm and dry in a variety of conditions, and the Pomoly products are definitely something I can recommend. I'll definitely get some more different tents you guys will be seeing on my channel, and so I'm really kind of happy to be able to share this long-term review with you guys. Very well made bag, very nice stitching, very well thought out compression straps here. It's got nice carry handles, but it's just a little bit too small in my opinion. I think if it was an inch or so bigger, it would be much easier to pack things away, and I think in the long term the bag is going to last longer, because when you've got something that's fitting so tight, that's putting a lot of stress on the zippers. And so that's just something that I can see, you know, being a problem in the future. And for me, you know, it would be nice to have a little bit more space so I don't really have to wrap everything up so tightly to get it in here, because it is pretty difficult. Especially, you know, if you're tired, you've had a long day out here and you just want to get home. You know, the last thing you want to do is struggle with trying to get something into a bag. So I've spent the past 2 days in this tent, and today I wanted to open it up and kind of show you guys the beauty of it. Other tents, you know, a lot of times you can open both sides, but this you can really open up. I could actually open up this other one so there's really only 2 areas holding it, and so that'll give you kind of the feeling of being outside, but at the same time you're being sheltered from the wind. And so I can sit in here with the stove, make coffee, cook, and have this open, and then at night I can fold these back down and close it up like I did last night, and it's going to keep you warm, it's going to keep you sheltered from wind, rain. And I gotta say, the build quality of this tent is better than almost anything I've seen. Beautifully made, and the center pole, you know, everything. Right down to the stitching. I don't see any loose stitches anywhere on this tent, and so the build quality is fantastic. If you guys are looking for, you know, a tent in the $300-400 range, this would definitely be something to look at. In my opinion, it's probably better to spend a little more and have something that's going to last you, you know, somewhat of a lifetime. I'll leave a link to my full review of the Work Tuff Gear stove as well, because it pairs really well with this size of tent. I'm going to leave a link in the description as to where you guys can pick this up. I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you soon.